All right. I've only been setting up for like an hour at this point, but that's okay. Um, if anyone for whatever reason doesn't know me, hi, my name is Cal, also known as Celeste, and today I just thought I'd go through the season one server because I've been meaning to do this video for like a little while, but I just haven't ever really gotten around to it. All right, here. I think how I'll do this is, well, if it, that's just not even a button I clicked. Hold on, give me a moment. I realize the problem. Shouldn't do too much. Um, all right. Again. Okay. In that case, I shall teleport over here. I don't have the massive world map that I was originally going to use to showcase off, just because the map itself was like 10 gigabytes. And that makes utterly no sense to keep on my computer, especially when I have to run other programs. And so I just kept the waypoints. I assume this should all kind of. Let me up my render distance a little back to 12. I feel like this will run better. Hold on, we're gonna just cut off the PNG tuber real quick because I just feel like this will run better if yeah, because already it's running a little bit better, so I'm just gonna close this out and close that out just because I think on this one I'm probably gonna want why did I change, where the hell is that? Change that back. Yeah. Okay. This should run a little better. This isn't the exact same thing as the current season one would be. Just because it just won't. Oh wait, my bad. I should actually no, not that one. Nope, not that one either. I have it all labeled weird. My bad. So this is Spawn originally. This was the just Spawn house, and then James wanted to build a courthouse and never got around to finishing it. And then there used to be a bunch of pigs over here. And I think just for this purpose, I kind of just go by each area I first visited. So we will go north. We'll come back to spawn. There's not much here besides really my library and the Krusty Krab. Actually, we can go through the Krusty Krab. That seems to be fun. It was never finished, as you can kind of tell by the roof. There's nothing back here. I wanted to finish it, but I didn't have the original build structure, and I wasn't gonna go ask the seaside member for it. So yeah, we'll just come back. I'm not like I'm going in like the same route I went, but I'm not gonna do it in the same order that I found each stuff in. So here is Laconi's original siege castle. This is also my inventory from this time. Well, yeah, I say this time because the world file that Elijah gave me, it's this weird in between the destruction of the first Jux capital and the bombing of Lords of Flank, which is like a 1 month period. And so we don't have the second Jux capital, we have the first one, and every other nation's still intact, but the Lords of Flank, so it's whatever. This was the siege castle. I feel like this might. Hold on, wait, right? I have to. Nah, it doesn't matter enough. I'll just. Okay. Not much up here. His main thing was down here. Okay, his redstone does still work. I wasn't sure if it stopped working or not. Do. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, I'll stop jumping. Down here was the basement of the first area of the Valkyrian Empire. This is where we got the joke that Laconi built this in a cave box of deep slate. Originally this door over here was lined up. I'll get into that in just a moment. Over here was like his main industrial area where he used to have a super smelter. He had some fuck me, bro. Had some mob sort of grinders down here. And yeah, it's really kind of it for that area. And over here was a little bunker, and in here was a storage room. Basically, what had happened was there was a time where Laconi's base was targeted because it's only 200 blocks away from the why can't I think? From spawn. So it got targeted a lot just due to its proximity, which is unfortunate. But it got targeted by 2 of members from Jux, and it also got targeted by a rogue player from Seaside known as Logan. I don't think there was ever anything in this room. But yeah, that's the story right there. The Nether doesn't exist. There wasn't really anything but like a Nether fortress farm, and that was made by Jux, and I don't think anyone cares about the gold farm, the slime farm, or any of that. It was not slime, magma cream farm. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. But what I had done was I traveled north from here, and I was like, oh, let's go through here and see what all we can find. And eventually we'll get there. I traveled a little bit. I think it's, yeah, like I said earlier, like 1,000 blocks. Yeah, I'm just gonna teleport. Yo, what am I doing? No one cares about the whole walk here. Oh wait, no, that's an entirely different home. My bad. I'm fucking blind. This was my very first house. Just some small little rudimentary thing. It wasn't meant to be that good. I think it turned out alright for what it was. I think most of my original stuff is actually still here because I abandoned a lot of building materials and just basic stuff. There was anything down here. Lords of Flanks found this base. It's just a giant stairway down to a cave. It's nothing that interesting. Yeah. So from here, I met Comet, and he was like, oh yeah, Kale and them, they're at the complete other side of the map. I'm like, fuck. So we Well, a lot of these doesn't really. So I'll just teleport back down here, and eventually we made it to our second nation, my nation, the Jux capital. Obviously there wasn't like NPCs or anything like that. I only have that because I do a lot of modeling on this world, so it wasn't like I pull out an M9 and be shooting things. No, we weren't that cool, unfortunately. So essentially, yeah, this was Jux capital. I don't know. I don't like. I suppose I don't really know how like I should frame this video of it being like a time capsule. I think I'll just kind of keep going through what I was doing. So originally, where this little crop hut was my house. It got burned down by Mason. Yeah. I don't think. I think all of this. Yeah, I didn't finish this one till way later, but there used to be crops and stuff in there, and so Jux was very isolated from the world. I think it was the farthest nation. I'm not counting the Valkyrians' third capital. Was the farthest nation from spawn. So we were very isolated until my whole pilgrimage sort of deal. Yeah, I'll just keep going through buildings and stuff, I suppose. Over here was Kale's house. He was the main leader of Jux. Technically my superior. He didn't do anything. Not gonna lie to you, he did nothing. If you want to look at all his stuff, there it is. It wasn't anything that freaking interesting, all too much. He didn't have a lot. Despite being our emperor, he was kind of fucking poor shit. For no reason. Like, literally for no reason. There was no reason for him to be as poor as he was. And down here, he had like a little secret laboratory. Ooh, super cool and spooky. How the fuck is there an accent? It doesn't matter. Oh, let me just make sure. Okay, it is. Alright. So then we'll head up here. Woohoo. And, oh yeah, ignore all that. Over here was my friend I's house. She played for a little bit and then didn't get on again. Again, here's her stuff. Nothing much here. She used to have a bed and then Comet broke it, but eh. Over here we had a large cow population because I needed leather for a bunch of books, which comes more into play in a moment. There used to be sheep right here, and then we killed them all for beds and stuff. And I'll head to the first structure I made. This is my castle. Very basic. I think this is like my third or fourth time making a castle without using any tutorials, so it's alright. I really want to get better at it at some point. This was the main entranceway. Just interior stuff. All these rooms are empty except Comet's room, which was actually really cute. His sister made it. I don't think he had anything in any of these barrels. Yeah. And then my room used to be over here, and then it, you can kind of see it got burnt down, which then I gave it to luxury. And then we made kind of over here in this section. Well, I guess over there came first, but it doesn't really matter. Comet's sister made this little goods store. Really cute. Up here was a massive bee population. I don't know if there's still bees even up here. I have not. Yeah, I haven't like replaced any lost mobs. Down here was actually, yeah, well, it doesn't matter. I'm not making money off this anyway. Little strip club area. They were growing. They were doing drugs back here. I don't even know why the hell she made this. I made the most of it. And then, yeah, I guess natural progression is these were my horses. I don't have the J mod. I don't. Wait, yes, I do. Yo, what am I talking about? So there was one of these horses. These were both just bred horses from my main two. This one I think I named Gold Ship. Yeah, after Gold Ship the horse. This one was good on jump. And I think I need a jump horse or something, but I don't remember what. So this was the main interior of the manor. Honestly, I really just made this just to kind of show off, because nobody else really made as larger builds as I did. All too much. So there's this. Right. And then up here, I didn't really make much. In here is a little, I really do kind of like this little study area. I found it quite nice. And then I made a second storage area, because our tinier one was getting kind of overflown. I didn't make Comet's room at all on this one. This was my room. Not that, impressive or anything. We'll head out over here. I suppose I'll visit the AF cave. Just because I'm doing this as I go. I didn't really plan like a script or anything from this, but it's mainly informational. Large storage area. Well, I shouldn't say large, but a storage area. No one cares about the villagers down there. And then this was a little AFK area. I just think it's nice. You can see in my YouTube headband there of me wearing a skin being in there. We made this roller coaster. I don't even know why we did. There was literally no reason for us to have this. Oh, more sheep. Tinier shops that didn't have anything in them. There was a giant crop tower, and over there was a temple. Let me. Yeah, and you can see both those are destroyed. So when Mason, also known as Boncat, he bombed Lords of Fonk, right? Just to kind of like buy us a little time, like in case they had noticed immediately. I also bombed my tower and my temple, so it looked like we got attacked too, to kind of like keep some pressure off of Mason for a little bit. This was before they put withers and stuff in there. I had a piano. Beep, 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 beep. I used to have an automatic freaking... I don't know. It used to work, man. I don't know. It's an automatic record player. This was like a little, I guess, sort of court area. I don't know. I liked it. Senate, Iron Golden Farm. There's Raid Farm and all that out there, but I don't think anyone cares about that. Just potion stuff. And I think that really kind of just concludes the first Drux Capital. I don't think there's much more here that I need to really touch up on. Yeah, well, I guess I could do like the last two rooms of the tower. Hold on. Here was the Dragon Egg room. And then over here was just... again, you could ignore the NPC. Super Smelter and a little swing that me and Comet would hang out at. If it wants to let me on the slabs, apparently. Can I just do slash? I can't. Okay, whatever. Okay. And then... So then we get into the whole Crucible arc. Not Crucible. Whole thing of me fighting Lords of Fonk and Seaside. So this started with a nation called... I thought the cathedral was gonna be behind me. Called the Vatican. And Beetleland. So these guys were in the alliance known as the PvB Plus, which was these guys, these two houses known as Beetleland, a nation over there called the Propagation, and another nation known as Vicarian that I mentioned earlier. So the Vatican hosted a wedding for fuck, I don't remember, I don't care. So this is a rebuilt version of the church, but no, it's the same thing essentially. We also have the Book of Confession. You could read through all of it. I don't feel like. And so, none of Jux was in attendance for the wedding itself, but but Kale wanted to know what was over here, and I am the biggest walker of Jux, so I went through and was like, you know what, I'll come over. And so while I was walking over here, I noticed that like pretty much everyone from two nations was on a call together. The Lords of Funk and the Seaside Empire. Thanks for stealing our name, by the way. Seaside Republic was way better. Anyway, and so I follow that. But before I get into that, this is Beetleland. There used to be a massive trans flag. I don't know why it's not rebuilt on this version. I don't think anyone ever bothered to rebuild it, because why would we? And then over here was the propagation. When I get there, it's in running distance. I don't know. I'm not going to teleport. I don't feel like it. I'm already halfway here. And as you can see, this is also ruins because at one point me and Comet ran through and looted it and burned it down. Just because Comet was born, I didn't feel like telling him no. It's not really anything that like I would really care about, so I didn't bother. And then over here, actually, and what the fuck did the concrete sign go? Oh, right there. Over here was also. What the fuck is playing? Oh, okay. Sorry if you hear the background. These Walls by Kendrick Lamar is playing in the background. That's why. So we had we like did the end here, portal room. I don't feel like going down there because it's just stronghold. But yeah, this is the propagation again. Got kind of destroyed, and wait, hold on. I'm gonna actually pull up the massive map I made. I know, shocker. I'm just gonna do all this because OBS will hate me if I don't do it like this specifically for whatever freaking reason. I don't know. I've stopped questioning it. Properties. Inside of you, if these walls could talk. That is not. That is. I think. No, not that one. Okay, this one. Here, I will. There is. Alright. So, if you can. I think you guys can see my cursor. But if you can't, down where you see the Jux, I walked from Jux. Well, more like I actually took a boat, went through all this to come up through here from the Vatican. And what I saw was on one of their streams was just just this. Because Lords of Funk was trying to see if Mike could find their base, right? And so I kind of knew where they were. They didn't really pay me much mind. So I was like walking over here and I was like, wait a minute. This doesn't seem right. So I walk through here and I find this. I'm like, okay. And during this, I'm like constantly leaving and rejoining. And I knew it was kind of in this sort of quadrant of the server. Like, just kind of over. Well, nah, that's a wrong one. This quadrant where we were at. And so I'm like, okay. I can find this. It's not too far. And then at one, it was like I'm trying to think. About 3 or 4 a.m. About early in the morning. I'm tired of shit. I'm about ready to give up, right? And as I'm sitting there about ready to give up, you'll see what I mean in a moment. Really, this would have been a really cool segue if I had recorded the footage and then edited it, but it doesn't really matter. I saw the bamboo walls of the Seaside Empire. You'll see what I mean in a minute whenever this game wants to decide to load, but I digress. Yeah. Why the fuck did I go through a portal? Hello? Okay. That was weird. Anyway, I came in about through this way at like 4 a.m. in the morning, tired as shit, because I found a outpost that led directly to here. So, welcome to the Seaside Empire. I'm not gonna lie. Their members were cool, don't get me wrong, but like they got nothing else going for them aside from that. To be fair, again, they aren't really a nation of builders, so I'm not surprised by this. No shade at them. I'm just saying that, like, you're not gonna see an architectural masterpiece here like you would in the Vatican. But yeah, I saw them, and then I saw Jesus and Elijah at this point, and Elijah's like, wait, go back. There's a guy from Jux here. And so I talked with them. I found out that Lost Space was that way, and they found out that my base was that way. We had a little talk. I went on and explored the place. There was a little bit more here. There was multiple chests and stuff and way more heads, but it's whatever. I will show you guys something cool though. I think it was this wall? It was. I don't know where the lever is. This is migrate, fucking Michael's, not Michael's either. Whoa, Mike's secret vault. I don't know, man. Laconii found this, and he was like, "Oh, why didn't you find this yourself?" The answer being, because at the time I was in this weird state where I both wanted Laconii and James to find Lords of Falling Space, and also really didn't want them to find Lords of Falling Space, so I'd be running around in circles with them. And yeah, and I was using freaking free cam, and I was just looking through here. I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that I was there. And then I didn't mention it, and then he found it, and then I was forced to acknowledge its existence. We also have Mike's Arena, which was blown up by Bonk. Also, this looks really cool in its heyday. I did really like this. Its heyday is no longer with us, but it was still cool. Mob Spawner. They had this really, I guess, weird sort of thing underground. I think it was through this hole. Yeah, I need to ask Elijah, what was the point of this? What could you have possibly needed? Oh, wait, no, they needed... Okay, no, never mind. I lied. So they had this really cool, sort of castle that they were going to build, and I think they were grabbing Deep Sleep for that, and they were going to move, and then they just never did, because, no one really liked Season 1 aside me, and the only reason I like Season 1 was because I was low most of the time. Trying to think. Yeah, and then I followed the waterway, and I guess I'll go to Mike's former house, because that's just next up logically. Eventually this will load in 500 years. Mike had a really cool house, and then, again, that rogue seaside player that I mentioned before, Logan, he blew it up, like, right in front of me. He was like, yo, you want to see something cool? I was like, sure. He's like, you're not gonna tell Mike, right? I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And then he blew up Mike's house. That was a really weird time. Yo, why was I friends with, like, the worst people on the server? Oh, here he is. It was like hanging off of the ledge here. I don't think there's like really anything in this chest besides like new materials to help rebuild the house. Yeah, and then I sailed up through here. I'm not gonna bother going to all that until I found the base of the Lords of Funk. I will teleport there in 2 seconds. There we go. This will load in at like 5 seconds. Oh, why am I yawning? Yo, shit pissing me off. Anyway, Lords of Funk had a really cool base, I will say. I didn't capture any screenshots because why the hell would I? And it's now lost to time. And again, this is the one base that's like really in ruins of the major players because propagation barely exists. So, is there some steak? Okay, yeah, I found my hole. This used to be a just a place you drop down in. And do I have Fulbright? I don't think I do. Here, I will just. Hello? Okay, there we go. This is the ruins. I think this is probably the most intact part right there. Though, over here is kinda a little bit more intact. Not by much, though. Yeah, this is kind of just indicative to the style that they were going for. There's not much I can really show here. Where's this go? Oh, okay, this might actually be, like, the most intact part. Just, like, this little bubble elevator, yeah. Yep, and then after this, and then we met up in a village that's, like, between the two. I wonder if I can actually, hold on, let me go back and refer to the map. I think I know which village it was. Where is this in reference to Seaside? It's like not too far away. It would have been like about right here. So, you know, you can spawn me on the surface. Let me just wait for the surface to just teleport up, yeah. Alright. Okay, yeah, I found out where I am. I think literally if I just head... If I head down this way just a little bit... I think it is this village. Because I know it was Savannah Village. Yeah, I think it was. Because I didn't touch anything else here. I think it was... No, it wasn't this building. It was a kind of big building. This would be a really cool piece of history if I was able to actually find which... It might have been this one over here, actually. No, not this. I'm like 95% sure it was one of these houses, though. Because I remember it being an acacia biome. It might have been this one. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was. Am I misremembering? I feel... I might be misremembering. Because it was an in-between village between, like... Or it might have been... Ooh. Actually, no, I don't think it was this one. I think it was the one a little bit farther down. I think if I go about right there. If I'm in this jungle biome. Yeah, okay, I know where I am. So if I go down just directly this way. There's a trial chamber right there? Like, I think if I just kind of push forward a little bit. Let me... Oh, wait, no, never mind. I think it was actually this one. Like, yeah. I don't think it was this house specifically, but it was like one of these. No, not that one. It might have been that one. Damn. Also, my bad about like going like on this for so long, but like I really want to find this house now. Let's close your door. No, not that one. Was it this one? Nah. I'm stumped. It's kind of annoying. It's like now it's like gonna nag at me. Again, unless it wasn't a jungle, not jungle, an acacia, which if it was, that wouldn't surprise me either. Yeah, whatever. Okay. So then a few months kind of pass between this. And eventually, the Coney, the Emperor of the Valkyrian Empire, was like, yo, I need a cow. So then I helped him get a cow. And that sparked the whole friendship between me, him, and James. And thus the beginning of the Great Betrayal, but who cares? So the first thing we did, because I don't think we need to go back to the first Valkyrian capital, but the first thing we did was we visited the Crucible. Which, originally before this, I had completely fucking forgot that the Crucible even, like, existed. And the Coon's like, yo, I found their base, I took them over, and in my lore, like, I destroyed them all. And, I'm just so cool. And I was like, okay, but just show me where the base is. And it's somewhere in here, I'm sure. There you go. Alright. And this is the Crucible base. They were poor, Featherfall. Yeah, they had like nothing. They did have villagers, probably close to before almost anyone else did. They also did have their iron villager. Their iron farm, not iron villager. And then, after Crucible, we did the Great Cloak of Funk, which I will Yeah, hold on. I'll switch tabs for this one. Just because I think this will be easier to show if I use the map instead of... Alright. And because I know you guys see this. So we went through the nether, and because again the nether didn't save between like the sharing of the world, I can't really do anything about that. But there's a massive ice highway connecting a area of Lords of Funk and another area of Lords of Funk, which was Isaac's base. And so originally we had visited Isaac's base, which I'll get to in a second. But over here, we were over here, and we were like not even like 1,000, 2,000 blocks away from Lords of Funk space. So during this time, I'm getting yelled at by Lords of Funk, like, "Hey, keep Laconia at bay! Keep Base James at bay! They can't discover the base!" And so I led them on a wild goose chase where we kind of went through here, and then we started going to Caesar and all this all around over here. And this went on for like 3 days. And eventually, the main part ended when they thought Isaac's base was the actual Lords of Funk base. And they got hunted by Colton and Lords of Funk as they had entered Isaac's base. Here, let me switch this back. Alright. And so, yo, shit pisses me off sometimes, bro. And so, we had our portal over. You want to, like, load game? Oh, right, I forgot I can't do the commands. Whatever. So, this was our portal over here. And we were sneaking about, because at this time it was only like Caitlyn online. And so down here is Isaac's main base. For like in the server, we had a screenshot where it's me and Laconia and James all like, "We found your base, haha." Obviously, I knew we didn't because I found their base, but this is the little thing. And so we're sneaking down here. One of the days after we originally found this, we're sneaking down with invisibility potions to like look at the base, and then Colton and Caitlyn come down. Now they kill. Oh, that's cool. Actually, I didn't know that he had that. Never noticed that before. But we're like sneaking around here. They find him. They almost kill Laconia and James until James Laconia, leave but never return. So then this is his trading hall. There was stuff in. Okay, there we go. Like there was stuff in here. I also think I have his. Poseidon's Fury. That was his trident originally, which I kept for safekeeping just so I had it. Yeah, this is the base that almost got everyone killed. And then eventually, after getting messed with a few more times, Laconia was like, "Okay, you know what? I need to move. I need to move where my base of operations is." And so to do that, he moved, and through the nether, he made the second Valkyrian capital. Again, we'll get there when we get there. Again, we'll get there when we get there. One day it'll load, surely. Okay, there you go. And where's the chest? Oh, right here. He used to have like a wall of chests and engineered stuff right here. You just have a freaking cobblestone generator and all that. And this was his castle that he never finished because, as you can see, all this. Yeah. This shit genuinely pisses me off. Do I not have a... Oh, I do have it on Mac. Anyway. Yeah. This wasn't built before. Ignore all of this and stuff. It was literally just open. Which is also why there's, like, this random andesite stuff. Because, I added that when I was making screenshot items. And, yeah. This is literally the entirety of the second Valkyrian capital. There's also, like, a cobblestone platform. Emphasis on a cobblestone platform for their farms that they never finished, so I'm not gonna bother showing that. But over here, I didn't discover this at the time, so it's not exactly, but it's already in the area, and I don't feel like coming back down here. If we run like 300 more feet, and if chunks wish to keep loading, as all good chunks should. We have Reaper's Base. One of my most infamous company members for kind of building the factory, not really. And, he had stuff. Definitely did things. Yeah. Okay. And then after this, I don't... looking at this. Really... That was it for the longest, and then when they found his second base, the company was like, you know what? I need to make a third base that's all the way out at world border, and nobody can find it. And so we made a third base all the way out world border. Where only I found it. Yeah, I know. So originally it was just this, and then this got a little bit more developed on the main server, but again, I don't have access to the main server, and so like the fully updated version of the world after Doomsday. But this was it. And then they had stuff in here, storage. He had, well, he did get villagers all through in here. During the main run of the server. He kind of had a little living area. I think that's really kind of everything of this base. I mean, there's, like, villager stuff. There's the lava collection. And, yeah, I think that was literally it. And... that's basically where the server ended. I mean, again, there was the second Jux capital, but that's not on this version, and so I will pull up screenshots in like just a second. I gotta just like do this, and this is what I'm about to show is just like a collection of screenshots that I did take. Not that I took, but I collected. Some of them I took, some of them I didn't. It's whatever. Finder, what is this? Alright. I'll move this a little bit just so it's a little bit more centered. Alright, this is what that giant sheep pen was originally. This was Elijah's pickaxe. Shit. Like, I literally just grabbed, like, random things that, like, would kind of just be little fun bits of lore to remember. This was when Lords of Fonk reached the world border at one point. This was a overview shot of the Jux capital using Distant Horizons and FreeCam. This is where the mansion now stands. It was formerly just like a little community building. And this was before I put the little rotundum thing. This was a picture of the giant mine I made underneath Jux that I was going to eventually turn into something, but I never did. This was me standing on top of the second Jux capital. Most of the second Jux capital and the full picture of the second Jux capital. My banner picture, because why not? one random time where my mellow shaders glitched out and randomly started censoring things like it was an SCP object. The whole world map. I don't know, man. It's the whole world map. There's not really much here. When Army Lava casted stuff over the first Shucks capital on the main server, the Ghoul Mobile. I don't know. James put that a picture of the temple before I blew it up, and when I found James' stuff after he killed himself. I think the last thing that's really like notable, I think, is just my library, which we shall go to now, because why not? Yeah. Ooh. There. Okay, over here. Why am I negative 20? 6, 7. Oh, there's the massive cat that Lords of Fonk made. I think like their only giant build on the server. And down here is my library. This isn't the nicest version of it because again it's kind of old. But this is none of the books are written yet. I would later on the main server go on to write odes to every nation. That were like 5-page long books. Nothing that special. I'm trying to think if there's any really other. There's Yana. We can go over the Yana space. Yeah, we'll go over the Yana space. I think the rest of this video will kind of just be, my perspective on season 1, and it was fine. Really, I think that if Lords of Fonk hadn't been on it, it would have been a lot more fun. But also at the same time, I feel like it would have been less fun. I think the main problem was that Lords of Fonk and Seaside allied with each other, right? Because they would have crushed anyone they went to war with, but then that also made nobody go to war because everyone was waiting for Lords of Fonk and Seaside to go to war, which then killed any fun the server would have had with like a whole war thing. Which then was supplemented by the Jux invasion of Vatican and the Jux invasion of Propagation, and the Jux bombing of Fonk, and then Fonk bombing everyone, and then everyone hated Fonk, and then the random year-long like divide that made. We'll go to the weird building Laconia wanted to see. I still have no clue who the hell made this, like, out over here. I feel like it was Logan, but it might have not been. It might have been some other random nation. It might have been Caesar, I don't know. Really, I think besides from that, it was honestly kind of fun. It really was just that Lords of Fonk was just a hella mood killer. Like, hella mood killer. For, like, no reason. Like, I get that they were kind of the rage bait people, but, like, they even made Jux look normal. And Jux was, like, the weirdest bands of people you've ever seen. Nobody from Jux was innocent. Mason's gay. Comet's gay. I'm a war criminal, apparently, and so is Kale. So, and, I do think it, like, all things considered, it was fun. I think it was some of the funnest I've really held a server in regard of being. But there's not a lot. Yeah, there's not a lot. Other key points was the Vatican also got attacked a lot. Like, the PvP in general just got decimated because nobody from them really did anything and never really fought, so there wasn't a lot that they could do back, but there was constant, like, targeting and stuff. Vatican, I'm trying to like fulfill any contractual obligations I accidentally had the misfortune of taking before I decided to make this video. James wanted me to mention how, the PvB again was Beetleland, Propagation, Vatican, and Valkyrian, and purposely Beetleland, Propagation, and Vatican were all in one area, and then randomly Valkyrian was just not near them at all. So that was a weird time. The Vatican also had sugarcane farms at a point, and were apparently the leading supplier of sugarcane for a little bit. Which, would have probably stayed the status quo had I not built my massive sugarcane farm, which was way better in every way possible because it looked better and was way more stylish. Yes, I am freaking power scaling sugarcane farms. Mine looks nicer. What else? What else should I add here? I already documented all the areas we went through when searching for Lords of Funk. Oh yeah, there used to be a giant island right next to the Vatican, right? And that shit got blown up. And I don't even think James noticed the fact that an entire island was gone. But yeah, it's not there. I think I'll visit Caitlin's old base, just for the hell of it. Why am I negative 999 blocks, bro? Just like put me back on the surface, little digit. Alright. So Caitlin had made this little base just to like kind of like throw off Laconia and James if they were to have ever kind of come up here. So there's this one. There's another house somewhere over here, surely. I know there is. I've seen it. There's light right there. Is anything going to load ever? Yeah, so then there was this tiny house, which I don't think I've actually been in this one ever. Yeah, but the whole point of this was to make this look like it would be Lords of Fonk space, because Laconia swears on everything that Lords of Fonk took a photo next to a cherry tree. They never did. That was like, just no one ever did. I genuinely still have to this day no idea what photo he talks about when he says that. Laconia, if you're watching this, yo, I still have no clue what the fuck you were talking about. I think that's really it for the fake base, and I think that's it for all of my contractual obligations. Season 2... it was also very fun, I would say, but I also enjoyed it a lot because I was the most goody two-shoes person that could ever be existing. And also because I didn't really fear death that much. But, like, at the same time, I was really buddy-buddy with everyone. With the sole exception of Lords of Fog. But, like, I feel like we just should have had events. And I should have made the Hunger Games like I originally said I was going to. And then someone else was like, oh, no, I'll make the Hunger Games. Except they logged on once and then never again. I think it was also Yana and, like... no, it wasn't Cadence. It was Yana and... I don't remember. If I looked at my recording, I'm sure I could probably find it. But, yeah, I don't really... yeah, I think the rest of this is just going to be how I feel. And honestly, I think, besides events and that, it was really fun. I just genuinely think that a lot of the servers, both times, really just kind of suffered from the fact that nobody really wants to just like groove with the theme, and it's constantly complaining. Oh, I can't freaking load. Like, there's only so much people can do about that, bro. And like, freaking people like Beetleland and all that, constantly complaining about nothing was really annoying. Even at, okay, because as a person from Season 1, right, like, a lot of the way for the server to stay relevant and, like, active was for people to actually do shit themselves. That's why I was always on. It's why if I go look at my statistics, I've probably... This is actually gonna give me like my actual statistics. I just realized I've never actually checked this. Allegedly I will, so we'll sit here until it gets done. But like, it was just constant complaining for over stuff that could have easily been fixed. Had people just like logged in, right? And you know, and I feel like that only got worse on season 2 because it was constantly people complaining, and then they would like die or something, and then they just wouldn't log in, right? And the outlier of this being Lords of Funk, because they were gonna complain anyway, right? Because they complained when I got admin after I, on multiple occasions, stated that I gotta just check how many days I played. Yeah. Ooh. How the hell do I have more time with the world open than time played? How does that make any sense? Sneak time. Okay, that's not too bad. Here's my stats if anyone ever wanted to check it for whatever reason. Of course, this is slightly skewed by the fact that I have the modeling on here, but I think that only should add like an extra like 5 hours. I don't really play this all too much, besides from doing little documentary style things like this or when doing modeling. And yeah, but like I said, I do think that had everyone not been like the worst people on earth, it would have been more fun. Like the heart-driven SMP, really fun for me at least. And like I get that people were complaining about, oh, there's like constant pressure, but then it was like, don't die. Be peaceful if you don't want to die. I don't know. Worse would have came to worse if I had died. The director would have just given me all of her hearts, right? That was like, that was our agreement. If I died, she would revive me. If she died, I would revive her. It just kind of worked like that. And, you know, like, you could have just made that deal with other players. Or, again, be peaceful. But no, instead we chose to complain. And, you know, I understand some of the criticism. It did get a little stale after a while, but there was only so much people could do, right? And if I had known that the Hunger Games idea would have never actually like got finished, I would have did it myself because I really wanted to. The whole point of an arena, you know, I think I can share this. Hold on, I can probably find this. No, I can't. Never mind. I don't have the application open. I made a whole like draft up for C District concepts, and I had a stadium there, right? So and like, I don't know. Beetleland would complain that the server isn't like building focused, so it's not as fun for her. And that counterpoint is, well, I'm a builder and I still have fun. I just did shit. I set goals for myself. I had fun. I made sure to keep playing. And I just don't think a lot of people really understand stuff like that. And with Lords of Funk, they're Lords of Funk. They were just inevitably always going to be annoying. And I'm still of the opinion I think they should have been banned way back in Season 1. And so it's just like, I don't know. It's just like there's only so much anyone could really give to like the people of the SMPs before it just gets annoying. And like, I don't know. I think that should be it though. I mean, unless we want to go through all my weapons, and again, because again, this is like all my original stuff. I don't think I really. That's not true. I had some freaky ass Gold Digger, Wings of My Dependence. I'm not clicking. I know what that Trident is. We're not clicking that. Backshot Breaker, Hammer of Heresy, Pink Shovel. This was pink. I have a pink diamond add-on, not my add-on, mod pack, not mod pack, resource pack that I have, and it does make diamonds pink. I just don't think I have it. Oh, I do have it activated. See, pink shovel. Yeah, actually, we should check. I'm gonna check my Ender chest because I don't know what's in there, and you know what? It's nice to keep a little part of history. Yo, I just thought that there would be one in here. It's probably one over here. I really just don't want to open the creative menu. I lag it like to high hell every time I have. Okay, I'm just gonna have to. Here, guys, I'll spawn in the Ender Dragon. Ignore the guns in there. Really not that much. I'll just keep the originals in there. Oh, there's like nothing in that one. Redstone stuff. I have so much mutton. Oh yeah, so another thing we did was Laconia wanted an Elytra, right? And to prevent him from getting one, everyone from Lords of Funk and Jux, not everyone, more like everyone from Lords of Funk, and then me, got on and got Elytras from every surrounding end city within like a 20,000 block radius of the end island, right? And we were gonna prevent Laconia from getting one, and then Laconia found one not even like 100 blocks away from where he spawned it at. So I don't. Someone did not clear out enough. Clearly. I think the rest of that though, I don't think there's much more. Let's see, I've gone over every major event. I'm not gonna go through every player that was on here. I don't care enough about that. Yeah, well, that's been the server tour. I think next one I should have will be the realm tour for my creative world. After that, I don't know, if I ever get the season 2 world, I'll definitely do a review on that, since I also want to discover stuff like that for myself. So, you know, good times. Anyway, I hope all of you have an amazing day and all that jazz, and I will see all of you later.